Hello everyone and welcome back to another new vlog. First of all, apologies that this vlog is slightly later than usual. I had a few issues trying to actually record my own laptop screen yesterday when I was trying to edit this video. And that was the main issue that I had. So I found that I couldn't actually record what I wanted to record initially. Luckily though, I did manage to have a bit of a backup plan, and I've managed to work out now exactly how to record my laptop screen, so hopefully this is going to work out okay. But we're going to get into the video. Today I want to talk to you all about editing exposure bracketed images. Now you'll know that when you've seen me out in the field, if you've seen me out in the field, I sometimes will shoot exposure bracketed images where I'll shoot one image which is the correct exposure, one image which is slightly overexposed and therefore lighter than the correct exposure, and one image which is slightly underexposed and therefore darker than the correct exposure. And then what I will do is I'll bring them back to Adobe Lightroom in this case and combine those images together so I get the full dynamic range of all the shadows and highlights and all of the contrast and the detail. It's also available in the shadow areas as well. So what you'll see here is I've got the images already open in Adobe Lightroom, and I've got a set of 3 and another set of 3, and in each case those 3 images will make up one image in the end. So what I need to do now is basically open up the develop module in Adobe Lightroom, which you'll see up here, and actually start editing these images. For now, what you'll also see down on the left hand side, in the left hand bottom corner, you've got a tray with the 6 images in it. At the moment there are just the 3 that are highlighted, and these are the first 3 that I want to work on. Once I've done those, I'm then just going to do a quick recap with the next 3 images, so that you get an idea of what I'm trying to do here. So for now I'm just developing the first 3 images. So what I want to do, because I've got these highlighted down here, is simply right click, and then I get this menu that comes up, and I go to Photo Merge, and then in the extra menu that comes out I go to HDR. Now once that starts, there's a progress bar showing me here, HDR preview. Once that progress bar finishes, you'll see, and then all I've got to do is click merge, and the merge will be added to the desktop. As I say, that'll just take a few more seconds, so in just a moment I'll show you that image. There it is. So I'm going to say merge, and you'll also notice with this particular image it was shot in portrait orientation, so once the merge comes out I'm going to have to flip that round so that it's, or should I say turn it through 90 degrees so that you can see the image in the orientation that it's supposed to be in. So I'll just wait a few more seconds now for that to load up onto the desktop, and then we can start developing that. There we go, that's that merge finished now, and you'll see here that it's actually added just here and down here in the tray at the bottom. It's actually added that merge to the tray and to the desktop itself. So I'm going to click on that one now so that the others are no longer highlighted, and I've just got this one highlighted. This is the merged image now, and before I do anything I want to flip that round. So I'll go to Photo, and then this menu comes down for me, and I'll say rotate left counterclockwise, and you can see now that the image has been turned the right way, the right orientation. So now I'll just click on the develop mode, and from here this is where I start to edit all the images. One of the things that I like to do is to give these a 4:5 crop or a 5:4 depending on which way you look at it. And the reason for that partly is because it's a better crop for social media sites such as Instagram and Facebook. So if I'm posting these images to my social media, then it's a slightly better crop. But also I just prefer that 4:5 crop. The camera has a default crop ratio of 3:2, and I don't really like that very much. So I always tend to crop these images afterwards. One of the problems I have is that if I was to change the aspect ratio in camera, then I might not be able to get the composition as well as I'd like to get it. So instead I just take the shot using the original 4:3 orientation, and then crop it afterwards so it becomes a 4:5. So I'm going to go here to the crop tool just here, and then simply scroll down to 4:5 or 8:10, and you can see that gives me a much better crop, but also it gives me the option of moving the image up and down to decide where I want the crop to actually be, and I think just there works quite well. And the reason I say that, you can see the lines of thirds where the image has been cut into thirds from top to bottom and left to right. And on this third line here, you've got all this vegetation in the right hand side just sitting just on the line, and this tree on the left hand side also just sitting on the line, and it kind of gives you the perfect crop really, in that the way I like it to look. I could try and drag this a bit further down, but then you'll see this tree goes underneath the line, and so does some of this vegetation here. So I'd rather try and keep that as close to the line as possible, just because it looks a more pleasing aesthetic. So I'll complete that crop simply by pressing the enter key, and there you'll see the image has been properly cropped down. It looks fairly good from here, but obviously if I wanted to alter some of the highlights very slightly, if I wanted to reduce some of the whites very slightly, or add a bit more shadow detail, then I can do that by using all of these sliders down here. So what I'm actually going to try and do is add to the shadows by bringing those up very, very slightly. I think I prefer that. I'm going to drop the whites down very slightly as well, not too far, because obviously dropping down the whites also has a bit of an effect on the sky. And at the moment you can see quite a bit of blue sky and some white clouds within the sky just behind the trees there. So if I start to bring that down too much, what will happen is that blueness in the sky blue, will look unnatural. So what I'm going to try and do is, if I show you that, is move the shadows up even further, and that blue sky behind starts to look a little bit unnatural. But also if I was to drop the whites down any further, it becomes much more unnatural. So it's just a case of working out exactly where is the right point to leave those sliders when you're moving them. And then a little bit further down I'll go to the texture setting here and add a little bit of texture as well, because it gives it a little bit of extra pop in the image. And the same again with the clarity. And sometimes, as in this case, I will opt to add a bit to the dehaze as well, so that reduces any haze that's in the air, and gives a slightly better image as well. But sometimes I will go the other way if I want to add a little bit of haze to it, down like that. And as you can see, it's added quite a bit already. So again, that's just a case of just choosing the right direction for your sliders as you're doing that. And the only thing that's left to do is just to check. I have here remove chromatic aberration and also enable profile corrections. Both of those are ticked. They're tick boxes. But if I was to leave those unticked, it's going to alter the way the image looks. And so I tick those, and I choose the camera and lens setting that I want here. And this is perfect for me at the moment. This is the camera and lens that I was using. So that looks perfect. That's how I want it to look. But if I was to remove that enable profile corrections, it just doesn't quite look the way the camera and lens combination would normally make it look. So that becomes a much more natural image. And that is that, really. So that's the first one done. I'm going to edit the second one as well now. So I'll just go down to here, highlight the first of the images, and then what I will do is highlight the first of the images, and then I'll hold down my Shift key and highlight all three by clicking the mouse button as well at the same time. And that is then all three images highlighted, ready to start working on these. And again, all I will then do is go to right click on the images, the menu comes up, I'll go to Photo Merge HDR, and once again I'll get this screen which comes up, and you start to see the progress bar, and eventually we'll see the merge at the end of this. There we have that merge of those three images. So I'll just simply click merge in this dialog box here. That adds the photo merge to the taskbar, and as you can see up here we are creating the HDR image. And this again is just a little progress bar that shows us the progress of that. So in just a few moments hopefully we'll see that merged image actually appear in our tray down here and on the stage in front of us. And that's when I can start using the develop module once again to edit that image. But I don't think, looking at the photo merge of this particular one, that I'll need to do any other editing with it. I don't like the look of these boats here in the background. They're actually pedalos. I'd like to try and remove those. So I'm going to open the image up in Photoshop afterwards and see if I can remove those by doing a content aware fill. And I'll show you how to do that as well in just a moment. So now we've got the merge added to our tray just here. I'll click on that one to highlight it and unhighlight all the others. And as you can see, it looks pretty good so far. There's just the crop that I want to apply to this now. 4x5 or 8x10. And again, that looks almost perfect. But I'd like to just move it over very slightly, just because I want it to have a little bit more of a gap between the edge of the image and this tree here on the left hand side. And I think also that leaving this particular tree just on the third line as well looks quite good. It kind of tells you that this tree is the one that's leading you into the image. And that's how it was supposed to be really, because it was this tree that I was interested in, with the broken top part of it which had folded over and was leaning in towards the water just like that. So that's what drew my attention to the image. So I'm going to try and remove these pedalos at the back here in just a moment. So I'll just click enter to make that crop. And now in order to remove these, I'm going to have to open this in Adobe Photoshop. So what I will do is I will click on the highlighted image at the bottom, and here we've got edit in the menu, and I will say edit in Adobe Photoshop 2022, and then hopefully this will open up the image in Photoshop, and I can show you exactly how to do that photo to remove that unwanted pedalo in the background. So as you'll see here, we have the image in Adobe Photoshop, and all I want to do now is create a marquee around that area that I want to remove, and then use a content aware fill to remove it. There's a couple of ways that I could do this, but I think I'm going to show you the very easiest way, simply because it's fairly quick and easy to do. So the first thing I do here is go over to my layers panel here on the right hand side, and I will right click on the layer, and I get this menu that pops up, and then I'll just say duplicate layer, and I'll just, in this instance, I'll just call it layer 0 copy, and click OK. So that now gives me two layers in the layers panel, and I'm working on this highlighted layer, which is a duplicated copy of the layer. Once I've done the editing on that layer, if I'm happy with that, then I can simply merge the layers, and everything will work out perfectly okay. Now I'd also like to zoom into this. So I'm going to go 100% on the view menu, and then I can see exactly what I'm trying to clone out. So along here in the toolbox, we've got the marquee tools, and in this case I just want to use a rectangular marquee, and I'm going to literally just draw that around the area that I want to clone out, and by doing that then I've got an area marked up perfectly well. You'll see that there's probably going to be a little bit more that I can get rid of in just a moment, and there's also another duck that's kind of blurred out near the front of the image, and that's only blurred out because it's a combination of 3 separate images and the duck was still moving across the 3 separate exposures. So first of all I'm going to go to Edit, and then I'll go down to Fill. I've got Content Aware Fill already highlighted here, but I could use a drop down and choose something completely different if I wanted to, but I don't want to in this case. I just want to use Content Aware. I've got blending mode set to normal. I'll keep that as it is, and the opacity I'll keep as it is, and then I'll simply click OK. I don't want to preserve transparency, there's no need to. I'll just click OK, and hopefully that does a fairly good job. I'm not really that happy with that actually, so I'm going to go back and undo that, and then undo the marquee tool, and then I'm simply going to redo that marquee with a slightly better positioning of it, hopefully, and then back up to Edit, Fill. Everything's correct, so I can click OK. Now that hopefully is a slightly better result, and although we can see when it's zoomed into 100% it looks a little bit off, when I zoom back out you probably won't be able to tell at all that that's happened. So if I do that now, I'll simply go Select, Deselect, and that removes the marquee, and already it's not so noticeable what the difference is in the middle. If I now go View, Fit on Screen, you can't now see the area at all where I've just edited that. I'm going to go back to View just for a moment and to 100%, and then I'm going to go back up to where I've just done that, and then I'm going to get the eraser tool just here. I'm going to make that slightly smaller as well, and then I'm just going to just go like that and remove these little bits and pieces of ducks and things that are just in the image. Now I'm going to scroll back down, and as you can see there is that duck, which is a little bit blurred out at the moment because it was still moving as the 3 separate exposures were being shot. So I'm just removing that from the image as well, and hopefully now when we go back to View, Fit on Screen, you won't notice any difference at all. And then at this point, because that's all I need to do, what I want to do now is simply save the image. So if I go to File, Save, and not Save As, just Save, and you'll see the progress bar of it saving just here. Once that's finished, see it's going a little bit blue. That's completely finished now. The save is done. So all I do then is just close Adobe Photoshop, and then we go back to the image in Adobe Lightroom, and as you can see, this image now has got all those things cropped out of it that I wanted to get rid of. And now it's just a case of exporting the images. Now, as you'll have seen, I've just edited 2 images. I'll show you the finished edits of those images at the end of this video. If you've enjoyed today's vlog, if it's helped you at all, then please remember to give the video a thumbs up, and please remember to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again on another vlog very soon. Bye for now.